The Song of the Jade Flute. Bard Pittamus was born in the quiet, mist-veiled village of Elmridge, nestled between the rolling emerald hills and the winding Silverbrook River. The village was a place of song and laughter, where the people, mostly tieflings with skin of dusk and stone, of smoke and ember, lived in harmony with the land. Music was a part of life, woven into the rhythm of the river, the whispering of the wind through the alder trees, and the crackling of the hearths in every home. Bard was named not at birth, but when he first found his voice in song. His parents, Luthen and Seraphina, were known among the villagers for their artistry. Luthen was a master craftsman, shaping wood and stone with the precision of a poet, while Seraphina wove magic into melodies, her voice capable of stirring the heart to joy or sorrow with but a note. They lived in a modest house at the edge of the village, where the tall grasses met the wildwood. Bard was not yet 10 when he first became enamored with music. He would sit outside his home, watching his mother sing as she worked, the soft hum of her voice floating through the air like the breath of the wind. His father often whittled flutes from river birch, simple but sweet-toned, which he sold at the market. Bard would take them when his father wasn't looking, pressing his lips to the mouthpiece and trying to summon a song from the wood. But it was on his 11th birthday that he received something truly special. His father led him into the workshop that morning, the scent of sawdust and oil filling the air. On the workbench, nestled in a piece of silk, lay a flute unlike any Bard had ever seen. It was a deep, rich green, carved from something that shimmered when the light struck it. Not wood, not stone. It was smooth as glass but warm to the touch, as though it were alive. "This," Luthen said, his voice tinged with pride and something deeper, something reverent, "is no ordinary flute, my son. This is jade from the heart of the verdant wild. Your mother and I traveled far to obtain it, for we knew that music was in your soul long before you could speak it." Bard lifted the flute, running his fingers over the delicate engravings. Tiny swirling patterns like vines wrapped around the instrument, and inlaid within the jade were flecks of gold that caught the firelight. "It's beautiful," Bard whispered. Seraphina stepped forward, kneeling beside him. "It is more than that, my love. This flute carries a whisper of old magic, the kind that binds the world together. When played with a true heart, it can do wondrous things." "Wondrous things?" Bard asked, wide-eyed. His mother smiled. "In the right hands, music can mend a wounded soul, calm a raging storm, or even reach across distances that words cannot." Bard swallowed, cradling the flute as though it might break. "You think I can do those things?" Seraphina brushed his white hair back from his face. "You will, in time." The first song. That evening, under the glow of lantern light, Bard sat on the wooden fence outside his home, the jade flute resting in his hands. He had played many flutes before, but this one felt different, almost as if it were waiting for him to speak to it, rather than the other way around. He pressed his lips to the mouthpiece and blew softly. At first, only a quiet, breathy note came forth, but he adjusted his fingers, finding the balance between hesitation and control. Then, the flute sang. The sound was clear, like water trickling over smooth stone, yet warm, carrying a depth of emotion that even Bard himself didn't understand. It was a simple tune, one he had heard his mother hum as she worked, a lullaby of the river, meant to call forth gentle dreams. A hush fell over the yard. The night air seemed to still, the wind quieting its restless wanderings. From the eaves of the house, a pair of sparrows cocked their heads as if listening. Fireflies blinked to life in the grass, their glow pulsing in rhythm with the song. A hand settled on his shoulder. Bard looked up to see his father standing beside him, his expression unreadable, save for the glint of pride in his golden eyes. "You were meant for this," Luthen said. Bard smiled. "It feels right." His father nodded, squeezing his shoulder before stepping back inside, leaving Bard alone with the music, the night, and the quiet magic of the flute. The days of joy. Life in Elmridge was good. Bard spent his days playing with the other children, dashing through the fields and climbing the trees along the river banks. Though his features marked him as a tiefling, his grey skin, his curling horns, his village saw no division between bloodlines. The children, whether human, elf, or tiefling, saw only playmates. Bard often played his flute in the evenings, drawing small crowds in the village square. Even the elders would pause to listen, nodding their heads to the rhythm of his songs. With every note, he felt a connection to something greater. The land, the people, the very air he breathed. One afternoon, as he sat by the river playing, his friend Mirren, a human girl with braids full of wildflowers, watched him with a knowing smile. "You love that flute more than anything, don't you?" she teased. Bard grinned. "It's a part of me. You should give it a name then." "A name?" "Of course. Something special." Bard thought for a moment, then ran his fingers over the smooth jade. "Lyrian," he said. Mirren tilted her head. "What does it mean?" Bard shrugged. "I don't know, but it feels right." Mirren nodded solemnly. "Lyrian, Tethen." And so, the flute had a name, the quiet before the storm. The days passed in a golden haze of music, friendship, and laughter. Bard never knew how precious those days were, how fleeting. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, Bard sat outside with his parents, playing a gentle melody as they watched the fireflies rise from the fields. The night was peaceful, the sky painted in deep indigo and gold. Then, in the distance, a sound broke the silence, a deep, rumbling boom. Bard's fingers faltered on the flute. His mother sat up, her eyes sharp. His father turned toward the hills, where a faint glow, orange and hungry, licked the horizon. "Smoke." "Bard," his mother whispered, her voice steady but urgent. "Go inside." Bard's heart pounded. "What's happening?" Luthen stood, placing a hand on his sword at his hip. His voice was grim. "Go now, son." Bard clutched Lyrian to his chest, his stomach twisting into knots as fear curled in the air like the scent of burning wood. And then from the distance came the sound of horns, not the kind made for music, the kind made for war. The last peaceful night in Elmridge had ended.